Nancy Pelosi, I think all of the Republicans on this impeachment hearing have really lost it. I don't think they even know what reality is anymore. Nancy Pelosi is now saying that Trump withheld the money from Ukraine for Putin. First of all, Nancy, the aid was given. In fact, he sold what they were asking for. They were asking for more of, because the president had already sold them those weapons. And those weapon systems they had been begging for, but it was the Democrats under Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, and yes, you, Nancy Pelosi, that refused to sell them any of those weapons. So for her to say that, look, he's just trying to help the Russians, he hurt the Russians here. His policies towards Russia, not his language, his policies towards Russia are much more fierce than anything that the Reset team was trying to do with Vladimir Putin. And when it comes to Ukraine, he actually has armed them against Russia, and the Democrats did not.
That's all part of trying to make Trump like a Russian agent. They're still trying to do that. They're still trying to make it look. They're trying to make the American people believe that Donald Trump is a Russian asset. It's so dishonest. It's so almost treasonish. It's almost treason.
So Giancarlo Sopo, he wrote for The Blaze this weekend, leak focus groups results. They reveal the Democrats' impeaching messaging plans, weak legal case. Did you read this article,
No.
Pat? So he says, what happened to quid pro quo? As political observers noticed this week, the Democrats have a new messaging strategy in their impeachment inquiry of President Trump, accuse him of bribery. The shift came after a focus group in battleground states by the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee showed that voters were less receptive to the Latin legal term quid pro quo. They preferred the charge of bribery over quid pro quo. The latter, according to the sources familiar with the focus group, likelier to persuade swing voters. So they changed it from quid pro quo just based on a focus group. What can we use to get this guy? As the Washington Post points out, the House Intelligence Committee member Jim Hines, Democrat from Connecticut, was the first to announce the Democrats' intentions to retire quid pro quo during an appearance on Meet the Press. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi began accusing Trump of bribery during the press conference on Thursday. Talking Latin around here, e pluribus unum, for many, one, quid pro quo, bribery, and all that is in the Constitution and attached to the impeachment hearing, she said. She noted a likely reason why Democrats had replaced quid pro quo with bribery is that the latter is one of the two crimes cited in the Constitution. Again, not true. The reason why they decided to change that is because people understood that and thought it was worse than quid pro quo. Post also noticed that even Hines recognizes that while bribery may be a political useful term for the Democrats, it's also imprecise to describe the allegations. Abuse of power is not necessarily a concept that most Americans run around thinking about. In this case, the abuse of power was the same combination of bribery and extortion. It's also unclear what Democrats argue is the alleged bribe in question, since Democrats don't have any witnesses with direct knowledge of Trump's state of mind during his dealings with Ukraine. Republicans were quick to point out the change in messaging underscores that Democrats don't have a compelling legal case against the president. They're just trying different narratives to see what would work. And that brings me back to what Nancy Pelosi just said and what Pat said. They're just doing everything they can. They're throwing spaghetti up into the wall to see what sticks. They don't have anything. They have quid pro quo, doesn't work. Bribery doesn't work. He's a Russian agent, doesn't work. When is America going to wake up to this?
Well, if you look at what's the definition of bribery? Persuade someone to act in one's favor, typically illegally or dishonestly, by a gift of money or other inducement. Well, so you have to get something for it. What did we get for the money we gave them? Nothing. They never did the investigation. Even the guy who was supposedly bribed has said over and over again, we received nothing for the investigation. By the way, we didn't do an investigation. So
the line that kept sticking out to me this weekend was the Democrats saying that sometimes hearsay is better than direct evidence.
That's amazing. Wow.
Since when has hearsay been better than direct evidence? The hoops that you intellectually have to jump through to be a part of this crazy train is truly remarkable.